Hey guys, today I'm filming my next update in my chopping block series for 2019. If you guys have not seen my intro or any of my updates, I'll have my playlist linked up in the cards. And basically, at the beginning of the year, I chose a set group of products that I wanted to test and make a final decision whether I wanted to keep them or not. Also in these videos, I do let you know any products that I've returned, anything I had to throw out because it went bad, and any other random beauty products that I chose to return. I'm also testing out and decluttering polishes this year, which I will save to the end of the video in case you are not interested. And I did recently film a really big update, and I filmed a separate, really huge declutter. I'll have it linked up in the cards as well. So for this update, I actually only tested out lip products. I didn't test out anything else. There were a few things I had in mind, but I ended up decluttering them in my last update, and there are some shadows I just haven't given a lot of attention to, so I might end up moving those into my chopping block for 2020. So for the lip products, I actually tested 18 lip products. I'm keeping 10, I'm decluttering 8, so I am keeping more than I'm decluttering, but as you guys know, I tend to keep things initially and then later I'll end up passing them on. So we'll see what happens here, but I will start by showing you the ones I'm keeping, and I will do some swatches. So I have two mini lip products from Bite Beauty. The first is the multi-stick in the shade Brioche. I had gotten this a couple years back in a Sephora favorites kit. This is not a shade I would buy on its own, but I do think it's really pretty, and I wore it in a video recently and I absolutely loved it. Then the other mini Bite lipstick I have is the Amuse Bouche lipstick in the shade Chai, which was one of the birthday gifts from Sephora previously, and this one is a little bit more red tone. It's really pretty. I do enjoy this shade as well. Again, not a product I would really go out and purchase color-wise, but I do like it enough to keep it. Then I do have 4 ColourPop Lippie sticks. So Lippie sticks in general are not my favorite formula, but I love these 4 colors so much, I just can't get rid of them yet. So this first one is the shade Kiddo, and it's a sheer finish, which has been discontinued, which was a shame because I really love the sheer finishes. Like, this is what it looks like, so it's still a decent amount of color, but it was just a super comfortable formula. It had a nice glossy finish, but it wasn't as thick and heavy as their glossy formulas used to be, so I love that one. Then I've got a matte nude in the shade Parker. I love the way that this one looks on my lips. There is that one. You guys know I love the Matte X finish the best, but of course not all these shades are sold in the Matte X finish. And then I've got Brink, which I have this lip liner as well, and it's a favorite, but I do love this color. This one does feel a little bit thicker, and it looks more matte than Parker does. And then the last one is a Matte X finish, and this is Ziggie, which is like a more terracotta orange than I typically go for. However, like, it's a deep color for me, but it is very beautiful. And again, I do love this formula. This is a Matte X finish. So then I've got 4 liquid lipsticks I'll be keeping, and these are ones I knew I was going to keep, but I was testing out all of my mini lip products this year, so I wanted to include every single thing, and I'm glad I did because I got some more use out of these. So there's one that I actually did not wear, but I will be keeping it. It is the Too Faced Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Sugar Cookie. I still don't know if I like this better in fall or winter, so I mean, it's a nude, but it's not as warm as some of these others. But it's not pink, is it? I don't know. I still need to test this one, but I will be keeping it. And then I wore these next 2 shades, which were also from the holiday set, in some videos over the past month, and I really loved the way these colors looked. And they have such a nice smell. So this swatch right here is Hot Buttered Rum, and the next one is Pumpkin Spice. I'm so glad that they made these in minis. Oh, it smells so good too. And that one's Pumpkin Spice. And then the last one I'm keeping is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Ludwig, which this formula is very drying. However, I do really like this shade, and I can get past the formula. I was collecting, not a bunch of shades, but a few shades I really wanted for a period of time. I was collecting these, and then I really kind of discovered that like this formula and the Anastasia are not my favorite, even though I was collecting so many shades. They're very, very dry, and I definitely prefer the Dose of Colors Liquid Lipstick formula, but I will be holding on to this one because I really do enjoy that shade of nude. Then I have the 8 lippies that I am decluttering. So the first one is one of the Maybelline Shine Compulsion lipsticks in the shade Spicy Mauve. I'm going to give this one to my friend Jean. And it is such a beautiful color. I love how it looks in a swatch, but it's just not a color I love on myself. This is a very creamy formula. It's very comfortable, but the color is very opaque, which is good, but in such a creamy formula, it does move around a lot. So that is why I'm passing it on. The color is so pretty and I am very tempted to keep it, but I just don't wear it. And I tried it on with a eye look that I thought would be appropriate for it, and I just didn't like the way that it looked. The next lippy I'm decluttering is an Anastasia lip gloss in the shade Toffee. I've got it swatched right here. It's a really pretty like light brown tan nude color. The Anastasia glosses are very nice. Most of them are that cream finish, and these do have a very full coverage look. They do have a bit of a thicker consistency, so they last on the lips, which is nice. I think this is a nice gloss formula. However, I am just not into full coverage glosses. I like most of the time glosses are a little bit more lightweight. There are some glosses that I like that are a little bit more intense, like the NARS Velvet Lip Glides and the Tarte's Glossy Lip Paints. I just like those a little bit more over these, so that is why I'm passing this on. I've only used it once, and I'm going to be giving this to a friend, and I've always been so excited to get those little mini Anastasia glosses and freebies, but as you'll see, I'm really letting go of all the ones I have because that formula is just not for me. And speaking of Anastasia glosses, here is one more that I actually didn't even have in my main makeup collection yet. I do have like a separate bag of lippies that I've gotten in freebies this year that I haven't decided if I'm keeping or not, and I was planning on putting them in my chopping block for next year, but I went ahead and pulled this one out since I am getting rid of all of my mini Anastasia glosses. So here is Butterscotch. I honestly don't know how people wear this. It is such a very light, very peachy nude. Even if someone's as fair as me, I think that this would look really bad on me. I think actually colors that are like this nude look better on someone that's more of like a light medium skin tone than they do on someone that's fair like me, but I just don't know, especially because this is so full coverage, how people can get away with wearing this color. Like, I know it's good for mixing, but not for me, too pale. So then I've got some liquid lipsticks. This is one of these Sephora cream lip stains in the shade 40. I think it's Pink Tea. Now this formula is incredible. I really do enjoy the formula. I do have another Vampy shade I absolutely love, and they have a ton of colors to choose from, and I think these are like $14 full price, which is not bad at all. But this is more of like a gray tone nude, and it's very pale, and I just didn't like the way that this one looked on my skin tone, so I'm passing it on because of the color, but the formula is really, really good. Next, I've got one of the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lips in the shade Aquarius 2. As you guys know, I'm basically getting rid of, it's just like, I don't know if you can see this like very thick glob. No. Oh, it got so thick, and this is only a couple years old. So here's a swatch of Aquarius 2. Again, this is the matte version. I did film an entire video on the Aquarius lip collection. I'll have that linked up in the cards so you can see the difference in the shades. The Aquarius collection are like my perfect nudes. One is more pink, one more peach, one that's like a little bit more brown, and they're all the 3 different formulas. I really loved them, but as you guys know, especially for me, it seems like ColourPop lip products go bad really quickly, so the only lip products I'm really buying from them. I do have a few of their newer glosses which actually have lasted me a while, and their lip liners I absolutely love. So this is a color I think is so beautiful, and I love it on me, but this formula is just not my favorite, and I won't repurchase any more of them. Then I have a Girlactik matte lip paint in the shade Demure. I had a friend gift this to me a couple years ago, and I was excited to try the brand. And it's a pretty terracotta color, but it's just a little dark for me, and I didn't feel like I had to have it in my life, so I am going to pass it on because, again, I don't wear shades that deep very often at all. And then the last 2 I tested I'm throwing away. Surprise, surprise. These are the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipsticks. I do not recommend anyone to purchase these. Now, the formula is great because well, it's not great. The formula is very comfortable. It is a moussey formula. It does dry down, but it does feel very comfortable. However, these dry out in the package incredibly quickly, and who knows, maybe it's just the minis, but from people I've seen who have gotten like the full sizes in PR and whatnot, they dry out very quickly, and I would not recommend them for that reason, because these are high-end lippies. Like, they should not be drying out like this. So this first one is Driver's Seat, which is an amazing terracotta. I've gotten, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can even show you how terrible this is. It is like, I'm having to put on a lot of pressure to try to shellac that on there. That's so gross. And that's a beautiful like terracotta color. I love that shade, but these just dry out way too quickly. And you get Driver's Seat and Ulta freebie bags all the time. Although I haven't gotten it recently, but I know like the beginning of this year I had a ton of them. And then this more like cool tone nude. I mean, it's kind of peachy, but it is more cool tone. And Stepping Out. Beautiful shade, but again, it feels very thick and heavy and cakey on my lips, and it's just too dried out. So these two are going to be trashed, which is very sad. So then I'm going to show you the other products that I'm throwing out because they've gone bad, and I've got a few here, which is sad. So the first one is the Benefit Coralista blush. So I recently posted a video on all the product that I've hit pan on. I'll have that linked up in the cards, and I did have a comment telling me that I need to throw this away because of how old it is, and I was not going to. This is something I wanted to pan next year, but then I decided to smell it, because if you guys know the Benefit box powders, they do all have a scent, and this one smells like pine sol essentially. It's very lemony, and it's very faint now. It used to be pretty intense, and now it's very faint. And the reason I was really holding on to this one is because this is from 2011. This was one of the first gifts that my husband purchased for me, and it's a really funny story because I really did sucker him into buying this for me, and he thought he was like surprising me, and like he was picking up on my like subtle hints. It was not subtle whatsoever, but I have good memories from this, and I thought about hanging on to it, but I am not a person that hangs on to stuff for sentimental value, especially makeup. Nothing's wrong with people that do that, but I'm just not going to be one of those people, so I will be throwing this away, which is sad. Coralista is not my favorite blush shade anymore whatsoever, but I do have another of these in one of the Benefit Cheek palettes. It's not exactly the same color. I actually like this one better, but again, this is not a color I use very much, so I will be throwing that out, which is sad. And then I do have some eyeliners that I am going to be throwing out because they've dried out. The first is the Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Crayon in the black shade. I knew this one was going to happen. I've had this one for a long time. I've had this since it was the Sephora birthday gift several years ago, and it is just so dry. Like, this is a very patchy line. It is just too dry for me to work with anymore, which is a shame. I just don't use black liner. So my eyes are very watery, and actually like all liners run on me, which is why I don't choose to go with a black because it makes a mess. I prefer something like this, which is like a shimmery copper, or even like the ColourPop liners in my lovely pastel shades I was using for spring. Those worked for me, but black is just a little bit messy. This one did last really well in the waterline because it is like a thicker, drier consistency that like is not good for upper lash line, but it is good for the waterline because it is like a wet area. But yeah, it has just dried out. And then this one has dried out some, but it's also very old, and this was hard for me. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Stash. I won this in a giveaway when I was still an undergrad, so like 2013 I think. So this is very old. It's a beautiful olive green. It actually does still swatch pretty nice, but it's just too old, so I do feel like it is time for me to throw this out. And this is a color that I love. I would love to find like a more drugstore alternative for this one. I've never tried the NYX Slide On Glide On liners. I don't know if they have a color like this, but I know how much people rave about those. I don't need to replace this anytime soon because a lot of times, even if I am using a more like golden olive tone shadow on the lid, I'm wearing this liner on my lower lash line, which is the Maybelline Striking Copper. So I don't think I need to repurchase this. And as you can see, like I still have like a full pencil almost. So that is very sad to me because I love the color, but I didn't get enough use out of it. And The Urban Decay 24/7 liners are my favorite in general because they run very badly on me, but they are so creamy and they have so many shades. I would love it if ColourPop would make a color like this. ColourPop makes amazing matte pencil liners, but I really haven't tried any of the shimmers to be able to vouch for them, and they don't tend to make a ton of the shimmers, so I would love it if you guys could let me know if maybe a drugstore brand that has a shade like this. And then I am getting rid of 2 ColourPop Super Shock shadows. So there are more that I need to test that I'll probably end up getting rid of next year. And this is just sad for me. You guys know how much I love my ColourPop Super Shocks. I panned a ton of them last year, but really only I think like 1 this year. And next year I think my goal is going to be to hit pan on a bunch, so I think I will try to test each one of them out and decide if it's too dried out and I want to throw it out, or it's when I want to try to pan. So anyway, this first one is Brady, which I love this color. It's a beautiful pinky tan shade, but this is just too dry for me to work with it. This is a color I do use in the crease, and I do have to use a special brush with it. And the matte and satin finishes from ColourPop are very difficult to work with unless you're putting them on the lid. The only reason this one works well is because it's a light shade that I'm trying to blend out, but it is too dry. And then this one is completely dried out, which is sad. This one is Boy Band. This is like my perfect pumpkin spice color. It was a pearlized finish, and it's very weird. Some of the ColourPop Super Shocks, when they dry out, I can still like work with them with a sponge tip applicator, but then some of them, which really has been like the blue shades for me that have dried out, they get very flaky and like little bits kind of ball up and flake off and make a real big mess, and it's not as easy to actually apply to the eye, and that's the consistency of this one right now. So I am gonna have to throw this away, which is sad because this was one of my favorite shades. If they did ever re-release this, I would purchase it again, but it's just time to go. So those are all the things that I'm throwing out. I would like to thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it was pretty long, but I appreciate your patience. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts on these products, and I would love to know what things you may have decluttered from your collection recently, or things that you returned. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.